Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Dan and I'm here to bring you another FPL video. It's that time again with a team selection video. We've got game week 35 ahead of us this weekend. We'll be doing a brief review of how I got on in double game week 34, as well as transfer plans, captaincy data, all that good stuff in the video ahead. So stick around to the end. Let's have a look first of all though, how we got on in game week 34. And it was pretty terrible to say the least. 89 points so far with a United and Brighton game left to play later. So I've got 5 assets left. Shaw, Rashford, Estepinian, March and Matoma. Although, to be honest, in terms of rank gains from these guys, some of them are very highly owned. Maybe Rashford will get me a few things. Shaw is reasonably owned. Estepinian, March and Matoma, though, I think across all 3 of those, there's a lot of ownership. So I don't really feel that I'm going to make much moves in terms of rank after tonight's game closes, but we're now on another red arrow to 113k. So I've dropped outside of the 100k. I'm about 30 points shy of the top 50k. Anything can happen in these last few game weeks, don't get me wrong, but I definitely feel like the Ederson choice going against me with his benching against West Ham, unfortunately. A few other situations with, of course, Diogo Jota only getting limited minutes. Couple of things that just haven't really worked out this week for me so far, but who knows? We're still, like I say, midway through the week essentially. At time of recording, we have still got one game left over to conclude. So all out, not too impressed with this game week. I will try my best to get back inside the top 100k before the season closes out. But these next few moves are definitely going to be very, very pivotal on how I achieve that. So this week, as mentioned in my live stream last week, I'm pretty certain that I'm going to be rolling this week. There is no other options for me, I don't think, here. I'm slightly again, I suppose, behind the curve with the Trent or sort of, Robertson picks and other individuals of that ilk that unfortunately I've been on the wrong side of over these past few weeks, but I couldn't get to him in one move last week. I wasn't able to do the Chilwell to Trent move, which I would have preferred doing out of Shaw and him. But I think it just makes sense to roll the transfer going into game week 36 to get as much knowledge as possible and set me up for maybe understanding who I want to go with for that third Newcastle asset in double game week 36 and just assessing those kind of maybe those last few game weeks in a little bit more detail. Maybe a 1 week punt or 2 in game week 38 might be useful. And of course, we've got very positive fixtures for Arsenal coming up between 37 and 38 as well. So maybe I want to jump onto an Odegaard, for example, after Brighton's double has concluded. Who knows? I just want to keep my mind open to lots of different assets or options for me. And I think the best way to do that is by rolling and giving myself the best opportunity to attack those final game weeks. So not really show-stopping here, to be honest, a little bit boring, but I haven't rolled for a while, to be honest. Moving through into the captaincy data next then. I've only really selected these 4 individuals based on the fixtures they've got. Salah has got a favourable fixture against Brentford at home, and I say favourable just because when you look at how many chances that Brentford do concede, it is quite significant. In their last 4 game weeks, they have, by far been the one of the worst defences, and especially on that right-hand side, conceding 16 chances, which I think Salah might be able to exploit on. Of course, he has scored 41 points himself over the past 5 game weeks as well, so scoring in those at least 4 of the last 5. So I think he's doing very, very well, and he's started to tick towards the back end of the season. So I think he's a very, very good captaincy shout alongside, of course, the Norwegian in Erling Haaland. Just look at the consistency of those numbers. In the last 5, he's scored 12, 12, 14, 8 and 8 respectively. Absolutely insane numbers. Now, breaking the Premier League scoring record as well. He's only going to continue to do that in the last few weeks. I've then also put Watkins and Kane in there as well as maybe slightly differential punts. Of course, Watkins playing Wolves away. They have actually improved quite a lot defensively, and especially centrally there. You can only see, of course, 8 chances conceded over the last 4 game weeks for Wolves. It is a bit of a sort of West Midlands derby in terms of geography for the UK. So if you're not familiar with that, then obviously it's 2 kind of West Midlands sides clashing. They have a bit of history there. So who knows? Anything can happen in those types of matches when it's a little bit more heated and the crowd get behind certain teams. Who knows what's going to happen? Watkins, unfortunately, though, has been a little bit out of form over these last few weeks. He's definitely probably last chance to perform in my team personally. I'm going to be looking to move him on probably for that third Newcastle asset in Wilson or Isak in 36. But I do think he is a captaincy differential based on those numbers. And then finally, the man himself that I have made that mistake on by bringing in Jota. He's had another return yet again, scoring 8 points last game week, even though it was a single game week. So completely annihilated Jota in those moves. He scored 11 last week. He scored 8 this week on a single game week. And he's just been continuous in his performances. And although his opponents have only conceded 9 chances centrally, I still think that Harry Kane, when there is a goal with Tottenham Hotspur, you know that he's more than likely going to be involved, whether that's from a deeper role in an assist category or obviously a goal scoring opportunity for him. So I think he's absolutely worth the captain's armband as well. So looking at the 2 isolated best options, really, I do think it is going to be Salah or Haaland. I can't look past both of these. I think if you're chasing mini league a little bit and you want to maybe improve on rank towards the end of the back end of this season, maybe you do take that punt on Salah. We could see some early substitution for Haaland. Maybe we've got, of course, Champions League fixtures coming up thick and fast for Manchester City next week. So maybe there's a bit of rotation for Pep there, and maybe Haaland only gets 45 minutes as we've seen in previous games after a couple of goals. But we know Salah's a 90-minute man, slotted home the last few penalties as well, removing any doubt that he's off of those for Liverpool. So after scoring 41 points in the last 5 game weeks, maybe his consistency has started to shine through as well, even outscoring Erling Haaland in certain weeks, right? So very, very well done from him. Then if we have a look at how the team is shaping up, as it stands, I have got this back 4. I've got Ederson, who I do believe will feature back in the first team. Now we've seen Ortega come in for that midweek fixture against West Ham. I do think Ederson will get back into the starting lineup. I think in terms of the opponent, Leeds are, let's say, a weaker opponent alongside West Ham, but I don't think we're going to see Ortega play back-to-back games. I think Ederson will probably come back in. That being said, I have got Raya on the bench if I really needed cover. Of course, then I've got Trippier, Shaw and Estepinian, all 3 of which I'm pretty happy to own. Trippier, unfortunately, not performing in pretty much, I would say, the back half of this season, right? Pre-World Cup, he was absolutely fantastic. In my opinion, probably one of the most or must-own defenders back then, but his attacking returns have since dried up and his clean sheet points have been a little bit amiss as well. We've not seen Newcastle keep a clean sheet for a significant amount of weeks now. Against Arsenal at home, do I anticipate there's going to be any returns? Probably not, but I don't have any other option realistically. So again, Trent is maybe the better option here. If you've got an option to go with a back 3 without Trippier, maybe this is a week to do it. But Newcastle could definitely upset Arsenal here as well. They could hold out for a draw. We've seen stranger things in the Prem, so who knows? Although it's a red fixture, Trippier still could be a great shout. And as I say, Shaw and Estepinian there, I think are very good options as well. Moving into the midfield, this is subject to a little bit of change, as I'm not too sure I'm going to play Jack Grealish ahead of Diogo Jota. Even though I've just said Jota has stung me since bringing him in with his limited minutes, I think that is mainly down to the fixtures essentially and the congestion that the Premier League teams have had to face. So I think Jota getting the limited minutes in the double game week actually makes me think he might get a start against Brentford. And I'm thinking that if that's the case, maybe Grealish potentially is the one who makes way. I don't think I can drop either of the Brighton boys. Maybe I change my mind by the deadline. But I think Grealish might be the one to make way. I think with the Champions League fixtures, as mentioned, with Ederson and City, maybe there's a rest for Grealish coming up soon. I feel like this is prime Pep Roulette territory here. When we just go into the semi-finals of the Champions League, it's a big game for them, and I think Grealish might be rested against a weaker opponent in Leeds, as mentioned before. The rest of the guys, though, very, very happy with them. Of course, we've got the 2 Brighton midfielders, as mentioned, very happy with them ahead of their additional game week. Likewise for Marcus Rashford as well, and of course Mo Salah picking up form of late as well. Then we look at the front 2 as we shape up at the moment with Haaland and Watkins, both with really good fixtures. Of course, as mentioned, Wolves have started to solidify a little bit better at the back, but I do still think that Watkins may be able to break through on that final week of owning him. And probably is the likelihood to, or the likely transfer out, should I say, for game week 36 for me and probably other managers as well. As for Haaland, yes, he could get limited minutes here, but I think he is just slightly ahead of Mo Salah for me for the armband, unless we get any early City news that there's any benchings or any surprises, it could well move over to Mo Salah, but he is definitely the prime candidate as a vice captain at the moment. As for the bench, as mentioned, Diogo Jota could easily come in here for someone like Jack Grealish. I may play a 3-4-3 by the deadline. Of course, I have got David Raya, although it is against Liverpool, being an unfavourable fixture. He could come into play if Ederson does get a surprise benching again. So that's how the team is shaping up, guys. Like I say, it's a pretty boring week for me in terms of rolling transfers, but do let me know in the comments below what your dilemmas are, any benching headaches or captaincy decisions that you want to run by me. Feel free to add those into the comment section below. And of course, finally, before we sign off the video, guys, there is the mini league to talk about. Now, we've had a new individual enter into the top 10 here in Tino. So very well played to you, sir. You're a regular on the stream and viewer of the channel. So congratulations to you. Of course, we still see Jan Aigner with that top spot firm in place there. 99 points so far this week, 2 points ahead of Lewis Connolly there. We see George McGavin still in the mix as well, and those three really I would say are pulling ahead a little bit. We have got a few people with chip usage that isn't quite completed, so there may be a bit of a change by the end of the season. But yeah, I expect these top three, I think more than likely are going to be the top spots between now and the end of the season. So hopefully you guys can give me some tips on what I need to do to close out my other mini leagues that I'm part of. But anyway, that being said, guys, it's not been the greatest for me. Of course, I didn't get a green arrow as I wanted, but we will continue to push for that top 100k. Hopefully get inside that in these final game weeks. But let me know, guys, as mentioned, any dilemmas, anything you want to know, let me know in the comments below. But of course, if you are new to the channel and you did like what you see today, then please do consider subscribing to me, completely free. And of course, I'll be by your side all the way through next season as well. And finally, just smash that like button as well, of course, if you enjoyed the content, guys. So thanks very much for watching. Take care, and I will see you in hopefully a future video soon. Take care.